Hello, Simon Kennedy Ellis.
Hello.
How are you today, you sausage roll?
Did you call me a sausage roll?
I did.
A vegetarian
You're
one?
my sausage.
Greg's? Like,
you
is it
can
high
be
quality?
a vegan one. Yes, of course. I mean, yeah. If you want to be a high quality sausage roll, you are. I just really mean it as a term of endearment rather than as an actual correlate between you and the baked good.
See, but it is a metaphor though, isn't it?
It is. It is a metaphor.
I mean, it's not a simile. It's a metaphor.
No, I didn't say, hello, you like a sausage roll. I didn't say that. That would be, because that would sound like an assertion, wouldn't it? Hello, you like a sausage roll.
Yeah.
Do I? Who says?
Oh, no. Or no, I think it would probably be more like you're like a sausage roll to me.
Yes, but it wouldn't necessarily sound like that, would it? Hello, you like a sausage roll. Because I'm saying you are like a sausage roll, but because of the nature of English,
and I wouldn't know what to say, which is like, well, are you asking me a question or are you telling me?
Exactly. So that's why I said, oh, you sausage roll. It is a metaphor.
It's been a long time since they have a good sausage roll at a place called Gonzo's down in Earlston on the high street there. Lots of different sausage rolls. The vegetarian ones are not the best. No? Mushroom and something. But they've got a very good Nduja one. Ooh, mamma mia.
Ooh, spicy meatball. Yeah, or spicy sausage in this case.
Spicy fatty pork. This is a podcast in which two friends talk about the pleasures, absurdities, and imperfections of being human. I'm Simon Ellis.
And I'm Lee Miller. Welcome to Midlifing.
What content have you got?
What content? I mean, I'm a bit empty-handed because I'm in holiday land.
Are you?
Yeah, which means that I'm sort of a bit untethered, which is nice.
It's lovely. It means that I'm going to provide a bit of content ballast then.
Oh, I love that because my head is empty.
I'm going to fill it with. Well, it's a sort of serious question, and yet it's also not. Well, no, I'm not going to preempt whether it's serious or not.
You're just going to ask it.
Yeah, and maybe you're familiar with it anyway. You'll be familiar with a part of it. And so if I say the names, two women, Amanda Knox and Meredith Kercher.
Yes.
You know that.
In Italy, one's English, one's American. Foxy Knoxy, I think, was the name given to her by either
local
American
press.
media or, I can't remember if it was UK press, American press, or maybe even Italian press. She served some time, then was exonerated, but I don't know. I don't know much beyond that.
Yeah, so this is in Perugia. It was, I don't know exactly when, the early 2000s? Yeah, and she served time. I think she spent 4 years, at least 4 years in an Italian prison. She and her new boyfriend at the time, an Italian man, were both accused of murdering Meredith Kercher. Later, a man spent, I think, 10 years in prison for the murder.
Right, okay.
She was accused of not showing enough...
remorse?
Yes, there was this kind of way in which women are supposed, or that people are supposed to behave if they've... witness to or become privy to something of that kind of violence. Anyway, it's not really about that, except did you see that Amanda Knox has a comedy show at the Fringe, the Edinburgh Fringe, about her experiences of her experience, basically, her life.
No, I didn't see this.
Yes, and it did, and of course the Kercher family have the sister of Meredith Kercher, whose name I don't know, and they've come out very strongly against this idea that they use that language of Meredith would not have found, wouldn't, as we do, we invoke the names of the dead and what they would have wanted in order to make a case we're wanting to make. And none of this is really about Amanda Knox and Meredith Kercher, but more the extent to which you think the limits and edges of comedy ought to be. And because I just know you will have thought about this, because all it did was it made me think. Well, first of all, she's not a comedian. She doesn't have training, and so there's that aspect of it which sort of irritates me slightly. Of course, I haven't seen it. I don't know whether it's funny. I haven't read reviews of it. I have no idea whether people find it funny or whether if I find it moving and funny and all those things that we might feel when we go and see performance. But it did make me think about. Yeah, there's something about good taste here, or the way in which we might use the stories, not only our stories, but the stories of others in order to tell a story. And I'm curious about your thoughts. Again, not about this particular, but just as an example of.
Well, like you, I haven't seen it, so I can't speak to the direct example that you give.
And neither had the Kercher family, of course.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't think one would really expect them to have to sit through it, having lost a daughter and a sister. So, in order to have an opinion, I think they can probably. I think they are entitled to their grief, and they're entitled to feel the way that they feel about it. And I think probably, having spent 4 years in prison for a murder you didn't commit, she's probably entitled to do what she wants with her story. So, I mean, I don't think there is a right or wrong on this side of the conversation.
Yes, although the Kercher family still think that she might have done it.
Somebody else was found guilty and spent time in jail for it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I can't speak to that again. I hope never to live through anything as abhorrent and devastating as that. So, don't know. Can't speak to that. But in the abstract, I think both of them are allowed to have their sense of ownership, and neither of them are wrong in the abstract. I think the question of what is in good or bad taste is really, really hard, because taste formation is individual. What one person finds in poor taste, another person finds perfectly passable. I think for me, I struggle with meanness. I think you know that about me. So comedy that punches down, just I can't get through. Comedy that sneers, I can't get through. I was watching something I never watched at the time was a show called Never Mind the Buzzcocks on BBC Two. Yeah. It ran for a long time, and there was a period of time where it was hosted by a quite a young man called and he's gone on to be a writer and I think a film director of some note. But
he punched down.
Oh, he punched way down. And he was brutal and mean.
Yeah. His treatment of Amy Winehouse was that episode was shocking. Actually,
he did seem to be particularly good at the. I don't know why he's resurfaced on Instagram. I think there was a woman who was on Big Brother.
Big Brother was one of the original kind of reality shows, right?
That's right, yes. And she was, I think, on the first series of Celebrity Big Brother. I think I'm getting this right. Yeah. And there were, as is often the case with celebrity shows that are called celebrity ... the people are kind of in the public eye. They're not necessarily, it's not like Nicole Kidman.
Kind of in the public eye.
Yeah, as in they've got
kind of in the public eye, Big Brother.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound quite as good, but I suppose what I mean by that is when you look at them 10 years later, you would go, oh, I don't know who that person is now.
They're C-lister. They're C-lister.
Yeah. And I was trying not to grade them because that that feels mean, and but yes, they're described as C-listers, C-list celebrity. Yeah. And there was a group of celebrities, and the conceit of this particular show, this particular version of it, is they put I was going to use the word normal. They put a normal person in the house with them and gave her a pretend backstory of what she was. Let's say she was I don't know. I'm going to reach for something very late 90s, early 2000s. That she maybe was a glamour model in like one of those magazines like Zoo, something like that.
So basically, she or he were put in there as if they were a minor celebrity when they were not.
But she wasn't.
Which, of course, is not something that could happen these days because everyone knows everyone.
Or also, nobody knows anyone.
Yes.
Because I think you could genuinely put people in a celebrity environment.
And say influencer.
Exactly. It's like, well, I've never heard of them. It's like, yeah, but they've got over 1 million followers. They are, by that metric, very, very well known. Would you like to know how many, it's like the guy that you were telling me about who crashed his plane on YouTube.
What?
You told me about a guy who crashes. Was it you who told me that, or was it somebody else? No, it was somebody else.
I don't.
Somebody else.
It was me.
Somebody else.
I mean, I wish it were me, but I don't think
I've just
it was.
remembered who it was.
But
Somebody who listens to this podcast. So shout out to the person who told me that story.
Who crashed their plane on YouTube?
Some guy faked a plane crash on YouTube. He was like flying like a two-prop plane, solo pilot. He had a pilot license and everything.
Was it Harrison Ford?
Yes, and he made a film called 7 Days and 7 Nights with Anne Hatch about it. It was a success for everyone.
Right.
No, it wasn't Harrison Ford. Anyway, yeah, so a guy crashes plane. I wouldn't be able to pick him out of a lineup, but there were like millions and millions of followers and people watching him on YouTube. He got in trouble, obviously, because he crashed a plane. Anyway, this woman went into Celebrity Big Brother house, and the game was for her to last as a quote-unquote celebrity for as long as possible until she was found out. And she then met a celebrity in the house, a guy called Preston, who was in a band. And I can't remember what band he was in.
Let's just call it Take That.
Let's call it
One
Take
Direction.
That. It wasn't. They entered into a relationship. The relationship carried on until they were out of the house. And on my Instagram, the clip of Simon Amstel reading out her, I think she was called Chantel or Charlene or something like that.
She appeared on Never Mind the Buzzcocks.
No, she didn't. Preston, the guy she was in a relationship with, did, and Amstel was reading out passages of her autobiography, and one of the bits said, I'm paraphrasing, but it's like, I was invited to do a photo shoot for the Daily Mail this week, and I felt so posh. And, he was reading that out to her either then or recent boyfriend. And the guy, Preston, just got up and walked off. And he was like, oh, come on, we're just joking. And it was just the kind of the sexism and the classism and the punching so down was just so disappointing.
Yeah.
She was reflecting upon it at the time, like in recent time in this particular video clip. And I was just... that, I think, reminded me of how little I laugh at stuff that isn't sort of... I laugh at silly things like mislabeled foods in restaurants. Like, you'll see, you see like a list of things that are supposed to say something. It's like, so it was supposed to say cream cheese, and it said cheen crease, and it just, that for some reason will make me laugh all day long. But I don't often laugh at comedy. So I'm the wrong, this is a very, very long-winded way of saying, I think I'm the wrong person to ask the question of, because I find comedy so...
unfunny,
yeah. I don't. It's a rare thing that I will laugh at. Bob and I can't listen to David Sedaris together because she finds him too cruel.
Really? And do you like David Sedaris?
There are things I like about the way that he writes that allows me to enjoy him, even though I can hear the cruelty, and I can hear that the cruelty is growing out of, more often than not, particularly when he's writing about his family, growing out of effectively shared trauma. And so, he's writing about his dad who died old, who's like 98, and he writes about his mum who died young. He writes about his sister's suicide. And he writes about many, many other things as well, but those are the moments, I think, where his cruelty can come to the fore.
So it's not necessarily that he's writing about his sister's suicide or whatever. It's just about, it's the manner in which that the cruelty might
Yes,
emerge.
exactly.
So it's not that he's using kind of autobiographical.
No.
I've never thought of him as mean, isn't it? So interesting. I need to read and listen again, because it might be that I go, oh yeah, I can see or hear that now, because I've always found him very, very funny. In fact, even Simon Anstell at the time, and Never Mind the Buzzcocks, I think I laughed a lot. And now looking back, I'm slightly, because I can just remember. So as you say, that punching down thing was his shtick, really. And I'm slightly sort of ashamed in a way, but yes, I totally understand. Yeah. So in a way, if I were to extrapolate here, then for you, there's nothing necessarily wrong or troubling, or that some line hasn't necessarily been crossed by Amanda Knox in this case. But it just depends on the kind of nature of the comedic sort of value of the work. Meaning, who's on the receiving end of it? How does she treat the Kercher family? I mean, I imagine she might not even she might mention Meredith by name, but I don't imagine it's about their family. It might not even be about. I mean, I don't know, right? So it's Yeah, so there's nothing implicitly wrong with that stance or that position or that desire.
I think for me, again, in the abstract, if she is trying to make a comedy show about having spent 4 years in prison and find her life after that, more power to her.
Or the Italian judicial system.
Yeah, exactly. The Italian judicial system, the pressure of the press, the idea of being held up as a pariah and then held up as not, whatever the opposite of a pariah would be. But, depending on what's expedient for the story that's being told by which particular outlet, those are the things that I feel, yeah, go for your life, knock yourself out. But I think probably even beyond like name checking and saying you know me because of, I don't know that there is any comedy that could be pulled from the murder of a person and the invocation of that person's name or their family, however poorly done to you might feel by them, if they are indeed still asserting that you are guilty.
Yeah, or don't talk. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
I think, but again, it's kind of like asking me, do you like the atmosphere on the moon? I've not been, I don't know, can't tell you. But in terms of that extrapolation, in terms of that abstraction, she can do what she likes. She's got every right to, and her lack of training as a comedian, I don't care. None of her provenance is not interesting. What is interesting is, does the show work? Is it well written? Does it hold together?
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I would struggle to find value in material that was punching down.
And do you think that, to what extent is laughing and laughter a sort of central or really vital part of your life?
Oh, that is such a hard question. I think I laugh a fair amount, but I don't think I seek it out. And I laugh with friends. I laugh with Bob. I laugh with Jeff. I don't know that in my life I've been to a comedy gig. Don't think I've ever done it.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? That feels like IV drugs, if you're into that kind of thing.
It's just
quite
something
aligned across it.
Yeah, it's just something that is just not for me. And that's not because I don't go out, and it's not because I don't go out and encounter live material. I go to see live stuff all the time. But comedy?
I had as you know, I've been looking at various houses and apartments. And I looked at a flat the other day, and the guy who was showing me around was very... He was... How would I describe him? Certainly it's interesting with real estate agents. I always thought they wore suits, but a lot more casual these days. He was in shorts and a T-shirt. It was a warm day, but he was pretty casually dressed, which is all fine by me. But he was very jokey, and he teased me at one point about what it was that I was looking for, and I said, I think you might be taking the piss. And we had a bit of a laugh, and I was thinking, I found it easy to be around him, right? And then I went to another house a couple of days later, which and met by a very serious, about the same age, I reckon, as the other guy, about as they all tend to be, mid-30s. And it's like there's a prime age for estate agents. I'm sure there is much more variety than that. But anyway, the ones I'm getting. And he had a tie. He didn't have a jacket, but he had a button-down, tie, trousers, and was very serious and took his job very seriously. And not only did he do that, but I realized when he sent me a list of things that might interest me was that he'd really listened to what I was saying. He'd really, really listened. So he resisted, and I suspect it's just not his personality. There's no kind of sense of, this is just a game, and all I want to do is to... the first guy was more like, I'm building a relationship here by jokes and laughter. And this person was building a relationship through, what can I do to help this person find a home?
Yeah.
And the difference between them, one in which, of course, I clued into and am very comfortable with because of the nature of my sense of humour. We clicked very easily. But it was a little bit, I would compare it with a one-night stand in a way. I go, oh, that was great. And then you go, oh, you wake up in the morning, walk of shame, etc., etc. But this other guy was thinking, yeah, you know what? You really care about this. And both of them made me forget that they were working for the seller or the vendor. But the second one, the earnest one, really made me think that actually part of his job was also to serve me. Yeah. That he hadn't forgotten that part of his job was to serve me. And the difference between them was night and day. And it would be easy, and it would have been easy certainly in my teens and early 20s for me to have been much more seduced, if you like, by the first, and to not have been there, not given the other person space to be who he is in that context. And it was the difference, amazing difference.
Bye.
See ya.